Hello, welcome back. This is RT International. We're now going to take you live to the Eastern Economic Forum in the Russian city of Vladivostok, where we're going to talk to the U.S. Governor for California, Jerry Brown. Hello, Mr. Brown. Thank you for joining us on the program. Now, you gave a speech at the forum speaking about global threats. Could you sum up the main message for us?
Well, the main message is there are real global threats. North Korea and their nuclear testing and what that might token for the rest of the world. Very serious threat. Nuclear proliferation, nuclear terrorism, nuclear materials in the hands of terrorists, nuclear mistake, climate change, cyber interference in industry. These are all deep, fundamental, and even existential threats. Because of that, the U.S. and Russia, as well as China and Japan and other countries, have to collaborate. There is no way forward unless, yes, we take our differences seriously, but we also focus on the threats, and that then can bring us together and realize the real benefits that greater cooperation would bring to all our countries.
Now, it's no secret that relations between the U.S. and Russia are at an historic low right now. Given the situation, given the atmosphere, how are you feeling at the forum?
Well, I think there's a lot of enthusiasm here. You do describe accurately the mood in Washington, but I would recall the mood in 1984 and 1985 when Russia was described as an evil empire. But very soon thereafter, there was the very important agreements between President Reagan and President Gorbachev. So the fact that we're at a low point doesn't mean we're not close to hitting bottom and ready to start going up toward a better and much better relationship in the future.
Now, coming back to the topic of North Korea, it's the main topic on everybody's mind, I'm sure, around the world, and of course at the forum over the next couple of days. What are your views on the Russia-China initiative, this idea to do a double freeze? Do you think it's a good idea?
Well, look, this thing is moving quickly with North Korea. We talked about it. I didn't feel there was any real clear path forward, but I do know this, that a close, frank exchange between Russia, U.S., and China and other countries in the region it's absolutely crucial. And wiser minds, I hope, will prevail and be able to move North Korea off this very dangerous path that they're on.
President Putin is really pushing his stance that the only way that this situation can be resolved is through dialogue, through diplomatic conversation, rather than any confrontation. What do you think of that idea?
Well, obviously that sounds positive. I don't want to second-guess the American leadership in Washington. I'm here as a voice of friendship and a voice in a positive vein, and looking for trade, investment, in various forms of scientific collaboration, and to deal with the threat of climate change. So the North Korea, of course, is a threat nobody can ignore, but I don't think I'm in the position at this moment to offer you a definitive response.
Indeed. Let's talk about some of the issues on U.S. soil right now. Now, the recent unrest in Charlottesville, that exposed deep divisions in U.S. society. Do you think is there a person or a side to blame for what's happening in the country?
Well, there are divisions, and we had divisions for a long time, and they flare up as they did in Charlottesville. But blame is the exact wrong approach. We've got to pull together and realize we are one country. The motto of America is e pluribus unum, from many to one. And we do have a ways to go before we get greater unity. But we can get there. And sometimes the specter of a Charlottesville wake people up and realize that we cannot allow hate and intolerance any role in our national life. And I think, for the most part, that has been the response in America.
Now, coming back to the US-Russia ties now, sanctions against Russia have been extended and the consulate in San Francisco has been seized now. What can be done to improve the situation?
Well, I find it very interesting that when I got here to Vladivostok, the American consul showed me his speeches where he is urging more trade and investment with the United States. So I know the sanctions are a very serious matter, but there are still room for trade, for understanding, and for cooperation. And I am looking in various ways to pioneer that positive path, at least from the point of view of California.
U.S. Governor for California, Jerry Brown, thank you very much for your time, sir.